Hey friends, welcome back to Runaway Trains. In our previous episode about Donald and Douglas, we realized that Douglas had a problem with the polarity in his engine, and we decided we were going to open him up in the next episode, which is this one, and figure out how to reverse the wires to make him run in the correct direction. So kick back and watch us do our work, and we'll figure this out together. All right, so here we go. We've got our Douglas, but I'm basically going to remove these 4 screws. It looks like maybe 6 screws in total. The idea here is we just want to detach the shell from the undercarriage. And once we get it open, we can see where the wires from the brushes that touch the wheels are connected to. They probably got them reversed on the engine itself, and they just need to be unsoldered and resoldered to the correct sides. That's probably the easiest fix as far as I can conceptualize in my meager little mind here. Like that. All right. So if you look here, you can kind of see what's going on here. You got a black and a red wire that are going over here to this little circuit board. So I kind of unscrew the screw there in the center of the circuit board. So it looks like the wires go to the back of that. Let me take a look and see what's up with that. Yeah, that's it. We're probably just going to switch those 2 wires, and I'll bet you that that remedies our situation. Can you see that here? The red and the black wire, they just need to be reversed. Alright, looks like I got it finally. So I switched those 2, and technically this should work. So I'll bring it over to the tracks. I'm not going to put the shell on it. We'll just put the screw back in here, and then we'll run it and double check, make sure that it's working. Fingers crossed, everybody. Fingers crossed. Alright, so we've got Douglas here on the tracks. That's the front of the train there. You can see because it's got the hook. And on the back there is the sort of latch that connects to the tender. Here's our Donald facing the same direction. So if this works, this will run the same direction as this. That's it. Yep. Yep. All right. So that's all I had to do was reverse those 2 wires. And I guess my soldering job did the trick. So now I'll bring them back to the bench and we'll put his shell back on. All right. So the hook goes in the front. Just carefully place that in there. It should like kind of wiggle and jiggle and then snap in. Yep, we lost his face.
There goes his face.
Let's get that. Look, he went all cross-eyed. Looks like this wasn't completely tightened down. You can see that each eye has its own. It's got these little forks on the back here, which will line up with a sort of rod on the inside. That should do it. And then I'll put the screws back in. You know, when you do a job like this for the first time, it could be very scary because you don't know what you're doing. You think, you know, all right, well, it should be easy. I just got to take the shell off, remove a few screws, you know, redo a wire, you know, whatever it is, but sometimes it doesn't go quite as you expect it to, and you run into a little trouble there, like that face popping off. I never in a million years would have expected the face to pop off, and then for it to be as complex as it is to put it back on and make sure and all those little pieces line up. But, you know, you can kind of live in fear and never challenge yourself, or you could, you know, you can challenge yourself and make mistakes and learn from them. You know, next time I take one of these apart, I know to watch out for that face and make sure that it doesn't pop off. Make sure that I'm paying attention when I'm putting it back together. Now here's another thing I just ran into. If you look really closely here, you'll see that my screwdriver is magnetized, and I didn't know that. That's making it difficult to put the screws back in. Little things you learn as you go. So maybe what I'll do is I'll use the tweezers to pick up the screw and put it in place. And then I find that the tweezers are also magnetized. It could be just that screw. I think it's just that screw actually. Yeah, the screw was magnetized. This type of work can be really tedious. It's very rewarding at the same time. Imagine like being a watchmaker or a person who repairs watches and all those fine little movements that the old school watches used to have inside them. Technically, this should be ready to go. Let's bring it over to layout. You have his tender over there?
Right here is his tender.
Donald and Douglas, the Scotland twins.
Running together as one.
3, 2, 1. Now we're talking.
Now let's get them hooked up to the train. Let's do freight for right now. Let's do a goods train.
You know, while Drake is setting up that goods train, I want to give a shout out to SMT Mainline, who we love to watch. Harrison, he gets all these old sort of vintage trains and broken trains, and he fixes them. He opens them up on camera, and he shows you what he does. And that gave us the confidence today, I think, to take a brand new train like this and open it up and resolder it. I really got the confidence from him. So thank you, SMT Mainline, for influencing and inspiring all of us home model railroaders. All right, Drake, let's do it.
And they pull a moderate-sized goods train. It's not a big train. It's not a small train. It's just a medium-sized train. 2 engines pulling one train.
Over there, we've got the Kato signal that works with trains that have metal wheels. You'll see it'll switch to yellow,
Then to red.
and then it'll
Red
switch to green,
yellow. And then
and back to green.
back to green.
So it's very cool. It gives you sort of a sense of a little control over the lighting
Awesome cars.
and the signals. Looks like over here, a few cars came unconnected over there at that switch. So let's just go ahead and back up Donald and Doogie.
Or I could go under the table and reconnect them myself. There we go. Sometimes trains have a hard time going up this hill. So
Yeah, right over there where our switch is, there's a little bump. I don't know if you can tell, like right about there. There's kind of a hump in the tracks there, and sometimes the cars come disconnected there. It depends on the type of train.
alright, let's go through the tunnel.
Through the new tunnel, I might add.
Up and the
And
cars
there they go again.
run away.
That's fine. Why don't we back up our Scottish twins over here?
You don't see them, but they're in the tunnel.
Maybe we bring them around on the front line here instead of taking them up the hill, Drake. We bring them around the front over here.
One is derailed, I could hear that. I could hear something derailed. Something actually derailed. Looking slow. Oh, it's
Salt van.
salt wagon.
Salty.
Looks like we need the breakdown train. Let's try this one more time.
All right, Donald. All right, Douglas. Let's
Pull hard. You'll do it.
bring him around here. We got to go over here to the Big Ben clock tower and Parliament. We got to make an appearance here in London.
It,
Stopping here.
reversing the train, coupling up again. Come on, Donald and Douglas. I believe in you. Now I'm going to back it up into the goods yard. They go faster backwards. But it's fine. Don't wanna... There we go.
All right, well, that's it. Thank you so much for watching us do our little rewiring, our little repair of Douglas. We're so glad to finally have both of the twins, Donald and Douglas. So that's it. Thank you for watching Runaway Trains.
We'll see you on the next run.